So I have baseball on because there's not really much of anything else on. I guess I could throw on SmackDown. Yeesh. No. TV's a wasteland, and you know, I say it a lot, but it's really pretty bad in general. So when I find a show that's really good, even though this is a hockey-related channel, I and I skew towards sci-fi. Most of my books are sci-fi. What I'm writing right now is sci-fi. Yesterday, Dark Matter was on all day, and it's a great show. It was on Space. They ran all of season 1, which was only 10 episodes, now available on Netflix. And season 2 started last night. So um, when I was gonna watch the episode, my son was doing paces, and he's been kind of restless with some stuff that's going on. So I put everything down and went out, and then I was late watching it last night, and that's part of the reason why I posted a video really late last night. Man, was it worth waiting for? And Melissa O'Neill is the selling point for males to get them into the show, and then the fact that it's really good helps. The best villains they had last year were Will Wheaton, yeah, Wesley Crusher, and a guy who I just called Shia LaBeouf because he was just this scraggly dude with a beard who was just a complete douchebag in the 2 episodes he was in, and constantly chewing on toothpicks and coming on to women and just being a complete tool bag. And I just referred to him as Shia LaBeouf. So in this non-hockey region right now, where there's no hockey on television, other than speculative stuff, sort of like what I'm doing here, I figured, you know what? I'll throw it out there as a recommendation. It's on Netflix. It's only 10 episodes. It doesn't hurt anybody. And Melissa O'Neill is she's something. She's definitely something. Um, anyways, yesterday's free agent frenzy apparently tired out all the GMs because the only signing I've seen so far today is Jason Demers signing with Florida. Florida looks like they want to repeat as division champs next year. They understand the challenge they have with Tampa in order to keep that going. I don't know if I like their chances, but I like their guts. They got rid of the expensive, soon to be very expensive Eric Goodbranson, and they got quicker. They got quicker on the back end. And considering what we saw in the Final Four, in the semifinals, and then the finals, in the playoffs this year, it's a speed game now. The game has evolved. Some of the signings I saw yesterday, I was like, well, that's a little much. And David Backes stands out to me as the one that's a little much. $6 million a year for what he does. There's no guarantee he scores 20 on Boston this year. So it's a lot of money for 15 goals. Put it that way. But he is a fantastic forward in other ways, so that's what matters. So anyways, Demers has been the only signing so far. There's still some good players out there. I'm not sure why Hoodler doesn't have a contract yet. Hoodler didn't play great, but he didn't play bad last season. He was certainly good enough to still be in the NHL. And Hoodler's one of those guys that's going to sign later, and people are going to be like, oh, wait a minute. You know, he only makes how much? That's a bargain. And this is where the smart GMs come in. Carolina right now still has, according to Cap Friendly, still have over $20 million in cap space. That's why yesterday when they signed a couple guys, they said these guys are going to be rentals at the deadline because Carolina doesn't have anything. But I guess you never know. I guess you pile those contracts up. No, that doesn't work either. Florida tried that about 5 years ago where they just signed everybody. And then I remember during that off season, everybody's like, oh man, Florida signed all these guys. And I'm like, yeah, but they're mediocre and we don't know if they're going to have any chemistry together. That's the thing too, like in the trades that have taken place, is there any guarantee that Taylor Hall scores more points in Jersey than he did in Edmonton? No. Is there any guarantee that Subban will score at the same point points per game clip that he did in Montreal. No. Maybe when he has Yossi on the other side, he'll be like, wow, this is better. And he can relax a bit and not feel like he has to do everything himself. I watched Montreal games last year and I felt for PK because it always looked like he felt like he had to do it himself. The game rested on him. He didn't have any faith in the rest of the guys, and it makes sense because Markov's wearing down, Emelin's wearing down, and they're just, I mean, there's Beaulieu, but is he going to really, rely on Beaulieu? No. So you're in a tough spot. You're in a tough spot right now. So, anyways, this isn't going to be an overly long video. I just wanted to kind of do a video today to touch base kind of thing. And I changed the ads on the channel so that they're the skippable ones at the start. If you skip them, they don't pay me. If you don't skip them, they do. I'm not going to tell somebody what to do. I got rid of the ones that were along the bottom because those ones apparently I only get paid if people click. And when I read that, I'm like, ew, that's kind of gross. I don't like that. So those ones are gone, and it's just the skippable ones. So like I said, it's up to the viewers. I'm up to $15 I've made so far. They don't pay me until it hits 100. So it's just money sitting out there in the middle of nowhere. And the money I was expecting from Amazon for my books is still out in the middle of nowhere because I gave them the wrong bank account number. So until my bank says, wait a minute, this account doesn't exist, and they send the money back to Amazon, I'm just sitting in the middle of nowhere with no money from them. But I'm not going to claim to be overly broke or anything because I get my GST on the 5th and I've got other things coming in. I got my bonus yesterday and I got paid on Thursday, so I'm not hurting for money right now. But yeah, at this point we're into kind of the no man's land of hockey. I will find some content to throw in here to review like past seasons, old free agents. This is a time where if you have any suggestions on hockey related items, throw it down for discussion and I'll take stock of it and see if I qualify to discuss such things. My knowledge has been in question from a lot of people. I don't really take a whole lot of stock in that because I don't claim to be a know-it-all. I don't claim to know everything. It's strictly opinion. I'm not Jason Botchford. Botchford will make an opinion and then make it sound like it's fact. And I don't like anybody in the press that does that, much less just regular everyday bloggers and shit. It's all opinion in the end. When I say these are my favorite players, it doesn't mean they're the best players. They're just my favorite players. And if I say player A is better than player B, that's still an opinion. Unless it's the fact that Nashville signed Yannick Weber after trading Shea Weber. That's one of those things that I kind of looked at and I'm like, wait, what? Like, you guys have to have a Weber in the blue line? Is that what it is? Do you have all these Weber jerseys that don't have a number on them and you don't want to have to get rid of those jerseys or sell them for cheap, so you had to sign a Weber? Is Mike Weber going there too? Are you going to like stockpile Webers and hope they'll equal a Shea Weber? Doesn't work that way. They're going to be disappointed in Yannick Weber. Maybe. Although Yannick was decent his first season in Vancouver, he couldn't keep it up last year when he was given a contract that right when it was signed, it's like, what are you doing here, Benning? He's not worth that. But in terms of people asking me what teams are going to do, I think most of the Canadian teams are done. They're pretty close to the cap for the most part, except Ottawa, and Ottawa just doesn't seem to care. I just haven't seen, and it's like, okay, I get it. You guys have prospects coming up, but shouldn't you guys be adding more veteran talent to mentor those prospects? I saw Chason get moved out for Seeloff. Okay, well, Seeloff is a blue liner who may or may not work, and I guess he replaces Weirkoch. But you still have depth issues, and if you're relying on a bunch of rookies to fill that depth, you're going to suffer. it's just one of those things I look at, and I feel bad for Erik Karlsson in it, because it's like he has the team on his back, and next season it's going to be even worse. Yeah, he's going to have even less support. So, yeah. So while I get ready for a series where I'm going to go from A through W, from Anaheim through Winnipeg, and here's where the teams are and here's what they need, I'm going to wait till the end of the first week of free agency, because teams are still going to be signing players. Guys are going to get signed, and it's going to change depth charts, and it's going to change all that. There's a plaque, sort of a plaque thing, at one of the stores in the mall here that I want to get, that has like all 30 of the logos, and you can put up the standings, and it's got the playoff tree, and it's all magnets and whatever. My problem being it's 30, and it'll be 31 next year. And the other thing I've been looking to do is update the look behind me while I do my videos. That's why I did a video where I had the camera here, and then I did one where I was turned around yesterday. Now I'm back here. I know how I want it to look. I know exactly how I want it to look. It's a matter of being able to do it without spending a lot of money to do it. And at the same time, one has to remember I have cats that climb, so it has to be a setup that I can leave it, go to work, come home, and the cats won't have completely destroyed it. So that's a consideration. And, these videos are usually off the cuff and not planned ahead, so I want to be able to have a setup where I can just hit the camera and go. I'm also looking at video cameras, GoPro, different kinds of chairs and different setups, backdrops. I was looking at green screen prices yesterday. Seriously, I'm looking at when the day comes this channel makes actual money, I want to be able to take the money I make from it and put it back into the channel. So I even created a Patreon account yesterday, but then I thought about it and I'm like, nope, I don't have the amount of subscribers where I'd be comfortable doing that, and I'm not in a position right now where I'm comfortable with it either. So the page is set up, and I've left it as it is, and I'll come back to that later. So, anyways, for those of you who are watching, who've been watching since there was only 60 subscribers, thank you. And for those of you who've come on since then, greatly appreciate the views. Any shares that you guys do, I'm surprised when I see that. When I see like 16, 18 shares, I'm like, people are sharing my videos. That's cool. And I appreciate the comments, the compliments, but I've also decided that when a comment is made on a video and it doesn't add to the discussion and it's just an insult thrown out there for whatever reason, I'm just going to delete it. It's not like I'm deleting dissenting opinions here. I don't want, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying when it's just throwing an insult out there, even if it's an insult thrown at somebody else on the page. So if person A makes a comment and person B comes in and says, yeah, well, you're stupid shit, what do you know? That comment's going to go because it doesn't add to the discussion. So I'm going to do my best to keep it clean now while we're at 400 users, or 400 subscribers, so that if we get to the point where it's a much higher subscriber count, I can be in practice. I've done it before. I've run numerous websites over the years. It was never hockey related. It wasn't video related either. It was always forums. But I've administrated forums for 15 years. I'm quite good at doing that and maintaining my fairness. I've always had a reputation with anything I've run that I'm fair, I'm objective, and I'm level-headed. So I aspire to do that throughout. And try to avoid some of the pitfalls that other YouTubers have fallen into along the way. And yeah, so that's it for now. I'll probably come up with something for later involving, I've got all my hockey books all stacked according to whether they're hockey news, NHL, like distributed by the NHL, the score forecasters, all of them, and I'm going to try to put them year by year and see if I can find some patterns and find some really cool stuff. And I'll find some stuff to show you guys just to keep everything in perspective, because there's a lot of emotions right now with the draft, free agency, and trades. And sometimes it's really important to maintain objectiveness objectivity. That's why I have all these magazines from all those years ago, so that I don't really lose my mind when Jared McCann gets traded. And I dive into magazines and go, okay, wait a minute. It's not the end of the world. It's okay. The sun will come up tomorrow. Everything will be fine. All right. Thanks for watching.